Morning, good morning, good morning. You know what today is? It's Monday morning chats with Sack, and Sack is me. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. I definitely did. I definitely had a good weekend. It was fun. I'm trying to think back over the things I did do, but I know I had a great time. It was a great time. So I want to talk about a few things. Last Thursday, I had a virtual conference, and it was pretty much about pro bono work, handling pro bono work, because a part of my job is doing pro bono. But I get paid for it, so it's kind of weird. So it was pro bono, and pretty much figuring out um, how can we attract more clients. But when I left my office Thursday, it was just like this, I don't know, like this blissful like feeling that just came over me. I don't know what it was. And I was just so happy. Just so happy. And I had a client call shortly thereafter, and my client was like, "Sakina, you sound so happy." And I was like, "I am." And I thought about it. Being happy doesn't mean that you have everything. It's a matter of just enjoying the present moment. That same day, I did a Bible study on what's the difference between joy and happiness. And those things, some people think they are synonymous, but they're not. If you are a person of faith, the Bible talks about the difference. So I actually broke that down in Bible study, and I can say that I think that was like probably one of my favorite Bible studies that I've done. So it was great. And so happiness is it's an emotion. It's something has to occur for you to get this feeling. It's temporary. It's not everlasting. Compared to joy, is being content. That feeling is everlasting. So we talked about whether or not we had happiness. Did we experience happiness? But most important, have we ever experienced joy? And some people have not experienced joy. So we talked about those things. And it made me think about what I wanted to talk about today. That Thursday as well, when I left my office and I had my client call, I decided to say, "Hey, you know what? Let me get me a late lunch." And I got a chance to go to this black owned soul food restaurant. Food was amazing. They had shrimp and grits, and I am a big fan of shrimp and grits. So whenever I go to different restaurants, I will always see if they have shrimp and grits. So I will go to different restaurants to try the shrimp and grits and see who has the best. Like that's like by far my favorite. I think I think out of all the places I went to that had shrimp and grits, this place in Charlotte called Midnight Diner, I think by far has the best shrimp and grits, like the best. And I can't wait till I go back to get some more. But during the conversation from that Thursday up until now, it just made me think about all the things I wanted to say. But that Thursday, I was I intended to have lunch by myself, but I ran into um, one of my yoga instructors, and I was like, "Hey, you want to have lunch with me?" And we were talking, and one of the things that we did talk about, the first thing I would like to say is that to never pay back evil with evil. That's also in the Bible. So I'm a big believer that don't repay evil with evil. And the thing that I was telling her is that, when someone does something to you that may be hurtful, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with that person's. I think once you understand mental health, you just be surprised that people are battling, they have internal battles. And so sometimes it's learning not to just, close your mouth, but just to give grace. And I think there's a right time for everything to be said. And so when someone does something to me that kind of rub me the wrong way, it's easy to say, I'm going to just tell this person about their self. But sometimes I just take a step back and say, is it worth it? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big believer of, standing up for yourself. But there's ways to do that. There's ways to actually stand up for yourself. But being evil, being nasty back to the person, it does nothing to the situation. And I told my friend, I said, whenever someone does something to me that I don't like, I don't treat them the same way they treat me. I actually treat them nice. And it confuses them, but I told her that I always win. Like if someone does something to me that I don't like, I always win because I'm not going to give them the response that they're looking for. So if you did something to me that's not cool, it's not saying that I accept it, but I don't have to treat you how you treat me. And no, it's not being a sucker. It's none of those things, but it's knowing like what battles are worth fighting, right? So what battles are worth it. And I know how to speak up for myself, and I know how to defend myself as well. But it's just like, is it worth it cursing this person out? Is it worth knocking this person? Is it worth it? Can you walk away? Can you say, you know what? There's some things I would like to say to this person, but today, right now, is just not the good time. So they may feel like they won, but you won the battle. So I'm a big believer of, don't repay evil back with evil. It's not gonna work. I can tell you based on my own experiences that when someone does something to me that I did not appreciate, I always win because I don't treat them how they are anticipating. Like I don't give them that. I'm like, okay, thank you. And keep it moving. So, and then I think it gives you and it teaches you about having peace. Like there's certain things that I don't need to respond to because I don't want it to affect my peace, right? So sometimes people will do something to try to agitate you. Like they will try to, and there's a saying like you keep poking the bear will attack. But it's like learn how to control yourself during those situations and say, that I really need to respond. Is it worth responding? If it's not, there's no need to. The second thing that I would like to address is if I had to label it, it will be, are you coachable / are you teachable? So last week, May 12th was the last day for my law students. So some of my law students are actually graduating. They're very excited to be done with law school, and graduating law school is a huge accomplishment. So, or graduating from anywhere is a big accomplishment. So I got a chance to talk to my students, and in my capacity where I teach the clinic is that right before the last day of finals, we do like a final review. We pretty much, it's like a self-evaluation. And I appreciate that because some students will receive a grade in their class and don't understand how they got that. So the thing that I like about the class that I teach is that, hey, we give them a midterm evaluation where we actually talk to them one-on-one and say, hey, this is where you're improving at. This is where I think that you are struggling. This is what I think you need to do to improve. And then our final meetings is pretty much talking about their progress over the whole entire semester. I'm a big advocate. I tell my students all the time is to always be willing to learn, right? So if I had to use the term coachable, always be willing to learn like a new play, right? So let's say that you grew up and you learn how to do something one way. But what happens when that play that you learned as a child, it doesn't work for you as an adult? I'll give you an example. So growing up, I used to fight a lot. And that was just my way to defend myself. But as I got older, I was like, well, is there another way? Is there a way where I could just say, hey, let me just walk away? And I've learned that because if I engage in the same things I did as a child, I will lose my license. And my law license means more to me than anything. It's my livelihood. It allows me to do the things that I want to do. Let's say that you were taught whenever you have a disagreement with someone that you ignore them. You give them the silent treatment. You just don't say anything to them. But let's say you learned that as a child. But as you get older, is it helpful? Let's say that you do that same thing when you're at your job. Is it really helping you and your coworkers? Let's say you do that in friendships, relationships. Does that really help you by ignoring a person? Now, some situations you may have to. Maybe you're dealing with a stalker. I can tell you about my experiences with stalkers. Like some situations you may have to step away, but ignoring them, being nasty, like, does that work for you now? And I say that because I like football. I love football. And the one thing that I've learned, this is in life and even looking at the game of football, is that it doesn't matter how good of a player you are. It doesn't matter how many touchdowns you score. It doesn't matter about all those things. If you're not willing to adjust, if you're not willing to learn a new play, if you're not willing to be a team player, you're no good to the team. I see so many football teams where they are great. When you look at different players, like, okay, this player is great. This player is great. This player is amazing. But when you put them all together, they suck as a team. And they suck as a team because they're not willing to learn something new. They're not willing to learn to figure out how to win a game together. Like, how do you win a game together? I say that because I tell my students this all the time. I tell my students that I don't care if you're a 4.0 student. I don't care if you're at the top of your class. If you're not willing to be teachable or coachable, you will never succeed as an attorney. You would just do the bare minimum. I said you have to go in the mindset where you don't know everything. And I can tell you that some law students, because they're in law school, they just think they're the smartest people on earth. And I know that because I dealt with that when I was in law school. Like, there were some people that just thought because they were in law school, they were extremely smart. Yeah, they were smart, but it was how they treated people too. So, are you coachable? Can you be teachable? Although I've been practicing for some time, I'm always willing to learn something new. I'm always willing to say, you know what? I learned this maybe 2 years ago, but this is not going to work right now. I know I've been teaching for 5 years, but how I did things last year, I may need to change some things this year because it's not going to work for this year. So are you coachable? Are you teachable? Can you work as a team? Are you a team player? Those things matter. Those things are important. When you are coachable, when you are teachable, it allows you to be open. It allows you to grow. You know, it's one thing to say, hey, I know everything. And it's another thing that says, hey, I don't know as much, but I'm willing to learn. When you're willing to learn, you're allowing yourself to like expand. When you are okay where you're at, you're stunting your own growth. So are you willing to learn or are you willing to expand? The last thing I would say is that it's okay to ask for help. I was actually listening to a sermon yesterday, and I think sometimes we have it in our mind that when we ask for help, it's a sign of weakness, but it's not. Like, it's okay to say, hey, I can't juggle all these things by myself. Like, I have like so many things that I'm struggling with. I have so many things where like I can't do this by myself and I need help. Help can mean, hey, I know I need to go grocery shopping, but like I have so much work to get done. It's okay reaching out to a friend to say, hey, can you pick up something for me if you go? Help means that, hey, I'm battling with all these mental health issues and I can't do this by myself. It's okay to say, hey, I need therapy. That's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing. It's an amazing thing. Let's say that you're struggling with your weight. It's okay to say, hey, I need help. Maybe I need an accountability partner to help me work out. Like, that's okay. And I think like we've been trained that, you know, if you're asked for help, then, you know, it's a sign of weakness, and it's not. And I can say that at one point I was afraid to ask for help. I don't think it was a thing of me claiming to be weak, but it was a matter of someone letting me down. And so I understand sometimes people are afraid to ask for help because it's like, will this person come through, right? Will this person come through? Like, if I ask them for help, will they actually really help me? Or like, it's pretty much everything I'm saying is a falling on deaf ears. And I get that. And I think you have to, you know, have this discernment. You know the people that you can actually reach out to and that will help you and actually follow through. Like, you know those people in your heart. Like, you know those people. But I will say that find those people that can help you. Find good people in your life that can help you, because we all need help. We all need help. And I can tell you, like, when I first moved into my house, I was like, I got this. Like, I think I got this. And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not Superwoman. I tried to cut my own grass the first time I purchased my own lawnmower. After that, I was like, help, please help me, please help me. And my neighbor will help me cut my grass. I was like, I can't do this. Um, if I needed furniture moved around, I can't pick up all this heavy stuff. I'm calling somebody like, hey, can you please help me? Um, and that's okay. And it's not, and it feels good like taking something off of you and saying, hey, you know what, this feels good. I had this burden taken off. And when people, and don't be afraid to receive help. Like sometimes people will reach out to you and say, hey, do you need help? And sometimes you're probably like, oh my God, like why is this person calling me? Like why? I don't know why they're thinking that I need help. And but maybe you do. So it's okay to receive help. It's okay to ask people for help. Um, and people are asking for help, they may be genuine about that. So just keep that in mind. And it's okay to reach out to people, to say, hey, are you okay? Hey, do you need help? That is my thing. Like I would just reach out to my friends. Like if they cross my mind, I'm a big believer. If you miss someone, call them or text them. If you need to hear their voice, call them. And so some of my friends, if I haven't talked to them, maybe I talked to them maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, or if they came across my mind, I'll send them a text and like, hey, I'm just checking in. How are you today? Like, how are you mentally? Are you okay? Is there anything that I can do to make your day better? But when I make those requests, I make sure that I'm in the right mental state too. So if I'm not having a good day, I'm not going to extend myself. But if I'm having a super day and I'm like super chippy and I'm just super happy, I will reach out and say, hey, like, are you okay? Um, do you need help today? Is there anything that I can help you with? And I'll let them know, like, even though I'm reaching out, if it's something that I can't help them with at that moment, I can help them with something else. I'll let them know. I'll say, hey, well, I can't help you with this right now, but hey, can we put this on the schedule for next week? I can do that. But today, this is what I'm able to do. But so just make sure that if you are extending yourself to help someone, make sure that you have the mental capacity to do so. Like if you're hurting, you're crying, you're just going through all this stuff, that's not the right time to extend yourself, because you need to take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first, and then you're able to extend yourself to others. But that's all that I have for today. The first thing is to never pay back evil with evil, never repay back evil with evil. The Bible says that I always get my blessings by treating people kind. Now there's times where you have to be firm, absolutely. But yeah, I don't give people. Sometimes people expect you to, well, if they're mean to you, like, oh, she's gonna be mean back. No, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm not gonna do that. I know who I serve. I know the God that I serve, and I know what the Bible says. So I'm not going to let you get that from me. I'm not going to give you my energy. So because of that, I'm going to just still be kind. I'm going to still say hey and keep it moving. And you're going to probably be confused, but that's absolutely okay. Absolutely okay. Are you coachable? Are you teachable? Those are things that are very important. You have to go into the mindset where you don't know everything. And because you don't know everything, that's not a bad thing. But when you're willing to learn, it allows yourself to expand. When you place limitations on your growth and say, hey, I'm not going to learn this, I know so much, then you're only stunting your own growth. Okay, you're only stunting your own growth. And the last thing I will say is that it's okay to ask for help. Like, that's absolutely okay. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It can actually be a sign of strength, because it takes a lot to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm struggling today. Or, hey, like, I can't do this today. Like, that's not a bad thing. So just keep that in mind. I hope that you have a great Monday. Today is the deadline to file your tax returns. I'm here to tell you that I'm not preparing tax returns today. I'm giving out extensions like it's candy. Like, hey, here's a Snickers bar for you. Here's a Reese cup for you. Here's this. Here's that. Here's that. But I am just doing sending out extensions and sending out emails, replying to clients' emails, and that's what I'm doing. I hope that you have a phenomenal Tuesday. I hope that your Wednesday is amazing. I hope that your Thursday is awesome. I hope that your Friday is spectacular. And I hope that your weekend is lit. I hope that you learn to enjoy the moment. I know sometimes I get caught up in, okay, what's going to happen in 5 months? oh my God, what's going to happen next week? What's going to happen in a year? And I just get so caught up, in my mind keeps racing. I'm like, okay, Sakina, stop. Let's think about today. This is the only thing we can focus on. So I challenge you to just focus on the present. What makes you happy right now? Like, what are you doing? I know it's going to make me happy as soon as I get off this live. Then I'm about to make me some chicken apple sausage and probably some egg whites. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to take my vitamins and call it a day. But I just hope that you just remain in the present. Be grateful for the present. And be open to the blessings that you will eventually get. Tomorrow, next week, or whatever. But focus on the present, and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment right now. We'll never get this day back, but enjoy it. Take care, guys, and have a great, awesome day. Take care.